can't know everything. Pretend you're an orphan. That was rude. You are. Work if you must. It's my nature to unwind from time to time. I've heard self-reliance is a virtue. Now you've heard it. Observe, learn, and react. I suppose experience teaches best. Learn by doing, and similar cliches have merit. Take their advice. I'm busy. Haste makes waste, so I rarely hurry. But if a ferret were about to dart up my dress, I'd run. When the path is problematical, consider a leap of faith. Ride the wind. Hanging ropes are as good as stepladders to those who know how to use them. Scythes, hips, and the hangman's noose all do it. Why not you? Your knife is necessary, but not sufficient. Always collect what's useful. Reject only your ignorance, and you may survive. This simple game can turn distinctly nasty. Don't ever play alone. 52 pickup is a staple of juvenile humor, but when the deck slices and dices, it's no laughing matter. Jack's a friend, but his temperament is explosive. Maybe best to let him play by himself. Withering cold incapacitates an enemy more completely than deep wounds, but winter does not last forever. Ah, the diabolical dice. A word of caution, don't throw them when you're alone. The fiends lack loyalty, and their notion of nourishment is quite disturbing. A blunderbuss in the hands of a blockhead is a catastrophe waiting to happen. You're not a dunderhead, but exercise great care. Launch this rocket against a distant target. Its white-hot energy does terrible damage. Here's a riddle. When is a croquet mallet like a billy club? I'll tell you, whenever you want it to be. Whoever says too much of a good thing is not enough speaks the truth. Whatever says too much of a good thing must be bad tells a lie. For every task there's a proper tool, sometimes more than one. This unique watch stops time for a time. Unlike death, time moves on. Those who stood still with time move on also, unless they're dead. The mask will not fool the water, but it will confound your enemies when you can swim and breathe like a reptile while wearing it. Noisy creatures, crooks, and assorted warriors would love to be invisible. For you, the option may be a matter of survival. What they can't see, they don't want to hear. You'll do better if you become corporeal. Those who say there's nothing like a nice cup of tea for calming the nerves never had real tea. It's like a syringe of adrenaline straight to the heart. Meta-essence is the life force of Wonderland. That of your enemies is especially potent. Collect what you can. Use it wisely. How fine you look when dressed in rage. Your enemies are fortunate that your condition is not permanent, and you're lucky too. Red eyes suit so few. You're sufficiently fortified to kick some ass. You're sufficiently fortified to boot these creatures' nether regions. Threats, promises, and good intentions don't amount to action. Time to raise some havoc. The dogs of war are loose. You may have missed something. What's rubbish to one is salvation to another. Look, Alice. Though his elliptical essence is unrecognizable, it's wrong to think him worthless. Turtle's bubbles are like words to a prophet. His bubbles are to your survival what eyesight is to vision. Every adventure requires a first step, trite but true even here. When the remarkable turns bizarre, reason turns rancid. What is sought is most often found, if it is truly sought. Only a few find the way. Some don't recognize it when they do. Some don't ever want to. There's an ugly name for those who do things the hard way. The uninformed must improve their deficit or die. To the royal guards of this realm, we are all victims in waiting. Only the foolish believe suffering is just wages for being different. Only the savage regard the endurance of pain as the measure of worth. Only the insane equate pain with success. Tell yourself, I've seen worse at Rutledge's. Prevarication in this instance may help. And you've picked up a bit of an attitude, still curious and willing to learn, I hope. As knowing where you're going is preferable to being lost, ask. Rabbit knows a thing or two, and I myself don't need a weather vane to tell which way the wind blows. Let your need guide your behavior. Suppress your instinct to lead. Pursue Rabbit. Ignore the Queen, for now. Keep your eye on Rabbit. Rabbit's handy with a map. He's on the right road, and at present you're too big to follow. Doors have locks. Locks need keys, which you don't have. Let's hope the doors are open. Most unpleasant metaphor. Please avoid it in future. The guards lack imagination. Don't play with them unless you're ready to deal. Protective walls may impede you, but the walls most difficult to penetrate are those that surround our hearts. Odds are the next gnome will know something of value. That last idiot was nearly useless. The old rebel is a legend. Search the mines for him. Cling closely to the path, Alice. A fall will dash your head along with all our hopes. Inside the wall is not inside the fortress. The old gnome was short on details. The guards are tools of the Queen. All suits are dolts, but dangerous. Boojums have revolting manners. They'll eat anything, dispose of them, or become a meal. The proper order of things is often a mystery to me. You too? That savage shriek is the mere tip of the iceberg that is the Boojum's repulsive personality. Best to shred these aggressive pests. This school serves more than nasty lunches. The laboratories are especially fascinating if you can stand the vile stench. Entering school requires a real leap of logic. Steps to enlightenment brighten the way, but the steps are steep. Take them one at a time. Countless generations of termites would only digest a mere fraction of the volumes here, and they wouldn't be one whit wiser. Treat it like a Chinese box or a stubborn lid. A tap in the right spot might do the trick. You call that a tap? Fortunate I didn't suggest force. You might have pulverized it. Unplanted seeds dry out and die. Nature has ordained that certain seeds require assistance to fulfill their destiny. Gardeners store rat poison and weed killer in sheds. Schools have laboratories for that purpose. Drink the potion only when you're ready to follow Rabbit. Every picture tells a story. Sometimes we don't like the ending. Sometimes we don't understand it. Mushrooms, poppies, sugar and spice, all those things are very nice. When combined, the proper mixture makes a getting small elixir. Rabbit's anxiety pollutes his reasoning. He begs you back to this hellhole and then abandons you. Stop looking for good sense here. Settle for any. A rope and a net would be handy, and a circus career. Your limbs and imagination will have to suffice. Take the high ground, then punish these pests. What a racket! Reminds me of your violin lessons. Plug that noisy orifice before we both go mad. The dim-witted are not ignorant. Follow turtle and find nobility of a sort. Go with the flow, whatever floats will do. The leaves appear no worse for it. Is our situation not dismal? Wonderland is so discombobulated that ladybugs have turned belligerent and enlisted in the Queen's army. Punish their conversion.